Hey, I'm Riley from Narcade, and it's time to bounce, wall run, and grind into our review of Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox One. As one of the biggest exclusives arriving on Microsoft's Xbox One this year, Sunset Overdrive has been in the crosshairs of many gamers. Being developed by Insomniac Games, known for popular Sony franchises like Resistance and Ratchet & Clank, the game's initial announcement surprised many longtime fans of the company. What the game manages to do, however, is stand out, even amongst Insomniac's wackier games. Welcome to the highly stylized and over-the-top world of Sunset Overdrive. Players will be thrown into Sunset City, a once booming metropolis that is more or less completely controlled by a massive company known as Fizco. After the shady corporation released its latest energy drink, generically called Overcharge, many residents of the city were turned into ghoulish mutants known as the OD. Cast in the role of yourself, you're tasked with completely customizing your in-game character however you see fit. And believe me when I say that nothing is off limits. The sentiment holds true regardless of gender as well, meaning that if you create a muscle-bound hero, you'll be able to give him disturbingly tiny jean short shorts. As the tagline has been from the beginning, it's your apocalypse, so dress however you want. Admittedly, while there is a wide array of costume possibilities that players can earn and unlock over time, there aren't many options when it comes down to customizing the physical traits of the player-controlled hero. There is limited offering of face types and a total of 4 body types to choose from, which seems abysmal when compared to all the wacky ensembles that fans are able to put together. Once thrown into the wacky world of Sunset Overdrive, however, players are treated to the most engaging feature of the entire game: traversal. This mechanic is what sets Insomniac's latest apart from the sea of other third-person shooters currently available, and it's the core focus of the game itself. Utilizing any combination of grinding, jumping, and wall running, players will be forced to learn how to do all of these things to do much more than simply get from point A to point B. The combat mechanics are directly tied into the premise of always moving, which means that anyone foolish enough to treat Sunset Overdrive like a standard cover-based shooter will quickly find themselves dying on a regular basis. If traversing the environment looks challenging, it's because it is to an extent. There's an initial learning curve that will throw even veteran gamers for a loop, but the Xbox One exclusive does a good job of introducing newcomers to the fun-filled means of traveling around Sunset City. The developer also encourages gamers to maintain constant momentum during firefights by awarding customizable power-ups as incentives for wannabe heroes. Known within the game as amps, these unlockable and equipable items will bestow unique powers to anyone that can rack up a decent combination of kills and successive travel maneuvers. Abilities like summoning tornadoes with melee strikes or summoning lightning to fall from the sky and strike nearby enemies are just 2 of the many amps that can be earned during the course of the campaign, and they are every part as zany and fun as the weapons at every player's disposal. Known for inventing some of the wackiest weapons in gaming, it comes as no surprise to hear that Insomniac has outdone itself with Sunset Overdrive's arsenal. Whether launching teddy bears strapped with dynamite or unloading rounds of the flaming compensator into an OD Herker, each weapon is, for lack of a better word, a blast. Despite offering enjoyable gameplay, the layout of many story missions and side quests is drearily similar. It more or less equates to one of 2 possibilities: defending an area for a certain amount of time, or a fetch quest. There are some standout missions that manage to change up the formula, but each scenario plays out the same. Fortunately, the dialogue in various scenarios were so entertaining that I wanted to complete each and every main and optional mission. Then there's Sunset Overdrive's online multiplayer mode, Chaos Squad. Throwing together 8 players, users are tasked with completing a number of different challenges. The collective group votes upon each challenge, and there are quite a few options to choose from. Some challenges have players collecting floating numbers within a certain time frame, while others will require participants to protect a stockade of supplies, destroy boxes, or kill enemies within a certain area. There's certain variety to keep online play interesting, but the end is where Chaos Squad really shines. After enough challenges have been completed, users are thrown into night defense mode. Much like the single-player offering of the same name, players are tasked with guarding a vat of overcharge until time runs out. Prior to the horde of OD monsters arriving, players are able to set up traps to help fortify and protect the area. This adds a nice level of strategy to the game mode itself, and it doesn't hurt that the traps are just as crazy as the weapons. Sunset Overdrive does a lot right, and pioneers the third-person shooter genre by allowing players to traverse the world's map by doing more grinds and jumps than Tony Hawk. That said, the mission structure can become tedious, but this shortcoming is largely saved by the humor so prominently featured throughout. Insomniac's latest may not have the staying power after all the missions have come to a close, but multiplayer combined with a grotesque amount of collectibles will ensure that Sunset City residents will be kept preoccupied for many, many hours. I give Sunset Overdrive a 7 out of 10. Thanks for checking out our review of Sunset Overdrive. Don't forget to subscribe for more content about your favorite games. Our gaming news podcast is also live and you can check that out right here.